We will start the event with Negaraku. All present are invited to rise for the national anthem. Di hujung muara. Pemanis kata, selamat datang. Awal bismillah, pembuka bicara. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera. Pembuka kata, lidah bicara. Izinkan saya mulakan acara. Semoga majlis disambut ceria. The Chief Executive Officer UMAM, Professor Engineer Dr. Waluyo Adisiswanto, Honorable Member Board of Director UMAM, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Muhammad Noh bin Dalilin, distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Yasir Makbul Sharif and Professor Dr. Nangkula Utabekta, professors, doctors, guests, participants, scholars, and fellow students. Ladies and gentlemen, praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have been graced by the chance to gather in this momentous ceremony. Our event today is live streamed on YouTube. This is conference hybrid where we online and face-to-face presentation. Before we move on, let us begin with the recitations of dua that will be led by Mr. Muhammad Alfan. We welcome Mr. Muhammad Alfan to recite the dua.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we pray, praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let us bow our head and heart. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the smoothness and blessing for today's event. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala nabiyyina Muhammadin an-nabiyyil ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, imamil mursalin wa khatamin nabiyyin wa ala alihi at-tahirin wa ashabil qurbil mayamin fi kulli lahzatin wa nafs عدد ما وسعه علمك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم إنا نسألك بأسمائك الحسنى وصفاتك العليا أن تبارك في هذا البرنامج الدولي، وأن تجعله مجلسا مباركا تتنزل فيه رحمتك وتحفه ملائكتك وتحقق به المصالح لعبادك. Ya Allah, we ask you by your most beautiful names and lofty attributes to bless this international seminar, to make its blessing gathering where your mercy descends, your angels surrounds, and which achieve benefit for your servants. اللهم يا ميسر كل أمر يا رب العالمين، يسر أمورنا في هذا السمينار وألهمنا الصواب في كل ما نقول ونفعل، واجعل هذا البرنامج سببا في نشر العلم وتعاون المسلمين على الخير والصلاح. Ya Allah, the one who makes all affairs easy, Lord of all worlds, ease our affairs in this seminar. Inspire us with correctness in everything we say and do, and make this seminar a means for spreading knowledge and fostering cooperation amongst them for goodness and righteousness. اللهم بارك لنا في أوقاتنا وجهودنا، واجعل نتائج هذا البرنامج خيرا وبركة للناس جميعا، وفد جميع الحاضرين المشاركين فيه بعينك التي لتنا. Ya Allah, bless our time and efforts, and make the outcome of this barnage, outcome of this seminar, beneficial and full of blessing for all people. Protect us, protect all attendants and participants with your watchful care that never sleep. Allahumma Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Amin, Amin, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you to Mr. Muhammad Afan for the recitations of Dua just now. Without ado, I welcome the Chief Executive Officer UMAM, Professor Engineer Dr. Waluyo Adisiswanto, to give an opening speech and officially open the 8th Mechanical Engineering, Science and Technology International Conference.
Terima kasih Puan Pengerusi Majelis. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain, amma ba'du. Salam perlis, raja berdaulat, rakyat berilmu, negeri sejahtera, perlis maju. Salam Malaysia Madani, diffusion to universal humanity and excellence. Distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Yasir Makbul Sarif from Taibah University, Saudi Arabia, Professor Technologies, Dr. Nangkula Tabirta from UCSI University, Malaysia, the Board of Director of UMAM, Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Muhammad Noh bin Dalimin, who has already joined this opening ceremony. Thank you very much. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, scholars, participants, and all beloved UMAM staff. Bunga melati di tepi kali, harum mewangi sepanjang hari. Teknologi canggih, ilmu berseri, masa depan cerah, harapan menanti. Ladies and gentlemen, let us express our gratitude to the Almighty for His grace and blessings as we are able to gather together in this classroom one for the opening ceremony of the 8th Mechanical Engineering, Science and Technology International Conference, MEST 2024. Our praise and peace upon our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his family, his companions. May we become humble servants of Allah and continuously improve our righteous deeds day by day. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the entire community of Universiti Muhammadiyah Malaysia to extend a warm welcome to all participants, both from Malaysia and overseas, from other countries at the Universiti Muhammadiyah Malaysia, UMAM. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues and scholars, it is my great honor and privilege to welcome you to the 8th Mechanical Engineering, Science and Technology International Conference, MEST 2024, hosted by the Institute of Strategic Science and Technology ItSat at Universiti Muhammadiyah Malaysia, UMAM. This conference, held in conjunction with the 10th International Summit on Science, Technology and Humanity, ItSat 2024, conducted at Surakarta, Indonesia, is a testament to our commitment to fostering innovation, collaboration, excellence in the field of mechanical engineering, science and technology. The theme for the MEST 2024, Creating Limitless Opportunities, Shaping Future Together, reflects our collective aspiration to push the boundaries of knowledge and technology and to create a future that is both sustainable and prosperous. This conference brings together industry professionals, experts, academicians, and scholars from partly around the globe to share their insights, research, and experiences. It is through such collaborative efforts that we can address the most pressing challenges of our time and drive progress in our respective fields. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce that we have accepted 53 papers for the MEST 2024 and 60 papers for ItSat 2024. So altogether 123 in both conferences. The authors and co-authors represent a diverse group of scholars from several countries, including Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, the United Kingdom, Canada, South Africa, and Kenya. This international participation underscores the global significance of our conference and the importance of cross-border collaboration in advancing science and technology in general. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished keynote speakers, Professor Dr. Yasir Makbul Sharif from Taibah University, Saudi Arabia, and Professor Technologist Dr. Nangkula Utabeta from UCSI University, Malaysia, for their invaluable contributions and for sharing their expertise with us. Their presence here highlights the importance of international collaboration and the exchange of ideas in advancing our understanding and capabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on this journey, discovery and innovation, I encourage all participants to engage actively in the discussions, presentations, and networking opportunities that MEST 2024 offers. This year, we are excited to conduct the conference in a hybrid format, allowing both offline and online participants. Let us seize this opportunity to learn from one another, to inspire and to be inspired. and to forge new partnerships that we shape the future of mechanical engineering, science and technology. In closing, I would like to thank the organizing committee led by Professor Dr. Nurhanita Abdul Majid of ItSat UMAM. Please stand up. Mana Prof. Hanita? That's at the back. Also, Professor Dr. Agus Dwi Anggono from Universiti Muhammadiyah Surakarta, Indonesia. He is currently online from Surakarta, Indonesia at the moment. All track directors, our sponsors, and all participants for their dedication and hard work in making this conference success. Pohon beringin tegak berdiri, tempat teduh di kala hari, ilmu dan teknologi kita pelajari, masa depan gemilang kita nanti. Thank you, and I wish you all a productive and inspiring conference. Seterusnya, dengan kuasa yang diberi pada saya, dengan ini saya merasmikan secara resmi the 8th Mechanical Engineering Science and Technology International Conference MEST2024 dengan lafaz basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nasrun minallah wa fatkun qarib wa basiril mu'minin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to Professor Engineer Dr. Waluyo Adisiswanto for the opening speech. As saying goes, to every beginning, there is an ending. And now, the opening ceremony has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for gracing our ceremony with your presence. We truly appreciate it. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to apologize for any mistake throughout the event. Tenang-tenang air di kali, tempat mandian putra-putri. Sempurna sudah majlis diraih, salah dan silap harap dimaafi. Merdu bertingkah alunan suara, kadang tak sedar tersilap kata. Andai terlanjur patah bicara, serendah hati kemaafan dipinta. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All attendees are invited to the group photo session following this event to commemorate these auspicious occasions. Our guests of honor are invited to refreshment in the open space just outside this room. To ensure a smooth transition, may I kindly request all other attendees to remain seated for a few moments while we escort our guests of honor to the designated area. Thank you. for the keynote session.
Pak, kita tunggu semuanya masuk dulu kan, baru kita mulai.
Sekejap lagi. Saya umumkan supaya masuk semua.
All participants are invited to classroom 1 for the keynote session. Before the event starts, I would like to invite the guests to be seated as the ceremony will begin soon. Please put your phone in a silent mode throughout the event. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and very good morning again. Let's start our session with Al-Fatiha. We will continue today's agenda with keynote sessions. We have two distinguished speakers that will be addressing us on their chosen topic. Without further ado, I would like to invite the chair and moderator for the keynote session, Professor Dr. Engineer Dr. Shah Nur Basri, to lead the session. Tafadhal mashkura, Professor.
Letak sini. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished guests, Datuk Muhammad Noh Dalimin, member of Board of Director. With this cap, Prof. Yasir, Datuk Noh, with this. He's from Java, originally, not from Madinah. My father. Yeah, actually, he's my mentor and our mentor here. Very senior academician, and now he's a member of board of UMAM. Still a member of board of UMAM. CEO, Chief Executive Officers of UMAM, Prof. Waluyo, still Chief Executive Officer of UMAM, insyaAllah. Thank you very much for coming, and today I think is the first session. It's a keynotes from two special guests. The first guest is my very long time friend, actually, Professor Yasir, my friend, quite long. He used to be my head of department when I was in Madinah. As a visiting professors there. He's my head of the department. He's a staff member number 1 in mechanical engineering in Taibah University. Pioneer 001 in Taibah University. Very friendly. And what's special about him? He's from the family of Prophet Muhammad SAW. I know him very well from the family. If you go to the Masjidil Haram, you will find that he will sit on the special stage. Until now, I know, special stage. See? If you go to Raudah, there is a stage. You see, you sit just beside the stairs there, you will find him. Maghrib or Isha will go up there. Okay, so that is Brother Yasir. So today we have two speakers. First is Dr. Yasir, Prof. Yasir. And then second is Dr. Nankula, Dr. Nankula Utaberta, bukan Alberta, from Canada. So this is our two. He don't remember me. I interview him when he want to join UPM in architecture department. I interview him. One of the interview board on the UPM. I still remember, but he don't remember me. After he got the job, he don't remember me. So that's it. Goodbye, Prof. Shahno. Okay. So thank you. So the first keynote speaker, I just want to briefly read his profile. Professor Muhammad Yasir Sharif, Makbul Sharif. Yeah, he's from Madinah Al Munawwarah, but he spent most of his education time in America, in United States. He told me if he study in Madinah, he will be Imam of Masjidin Nabawi. But because his father sent him to the US, he read mechanical engineering from school, undergraduate, masters and PhD, and most of his brother is an engineer. He's an engineer and PhD holders. The very highly educated. He's have an experience in industry in Saudis and also abroad.
and also he is the first member of staff in Taibah University. Taibah University is one of the university. We have University Islam Madinah. The second university is Taibah University. Yeah, Taibah University. Prof. Yasir is the pioneer in the establishment of the College of Engineering in Taibah University. And during that time, there are 4 Malaysians who helped the university. Me, and then we have in education, we have in mathematics, Prof. Abu, you remember Prof. Abu, mathematics from UKM. I think Datuk maybe kenal there. Okay, and then Dr. Shukran in education. So we are there also on behalf of Government of Malaysia to help the university, to establish the university, the program and so on. That's why I know Prof. Yasir. So without further ado, I would like to invite Prof. Yasir to present his keynote speaker, the title of his keynote speaker, an overview of the possible future research opportunities available with Taibah University Mechanical Engineering Department in Madinah. I don't think he will only focus on mechanical engineering, but overall collaboration between Malaysia and also Madinah. Prof. Yasir, the floor is yours, please. Siapa ya kan? Put this there, okay. Right.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashraf al-khalq. Sayyidina Nabiyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallama tasliman kathiran. I'm really honored to be with you this morning or this afternoon. And I really appreciate your generosity of the welcoming ceremonies. May Allah bless you and make your institution blessed with you and your endeavors. Of course, I'll try to make my talk short, so don't want to take so much of your important time. Okay, thank you. So basically, as Professor and Shahnur was saying, in Medina, we started the College of Engineering, Mechanical Engineering Department in particular, and we had so many opportunities of cooperation, international cooperation. Of course, it induced so much importance to our programs. Some of my students are faculty now at Taibah University, and some of them benefited from the program we started. It was a 3+1 program with some institutions. We had collaborations with some Malaysian institutions, institutions in Turkey and other countries around the world. So that international, even India, some Indian professors contributed so much to our start. And that appreciates the cooperation between countries, especially when you have common denominators. You have people who are interested in your particular region. And Medina, of course, is one of the areas where people could, Mecca and Medina, of course. Mecca is one of the places where people visits all the time. This is where we need to, as engineers, make the services and the power generation, the HVAC. There's so many issues that we need to update completely, every once in a while, with upgrading new technologies in the services of pilgrims to these important places. And we can go to the next step. So I'm going to focus my discussion on two different areas. The first part is we have the custodian of the Two Holy Mosques Institute of Hajj and Research in Al-Qura University, and we have so much work we do every year. They have conference, international conference, especially mostly for local, but some international expats apply for publications in their programs. And of course, these programs are not just publications, they're more of a recommendation, an upgrade to some of the new ideas that they could use for safety, for transportation, for accommodation. So many things come about to help these kind of ideologies. And of course, one of the names is giving the custodian of the Holy Mosques. This was established during King Abdullah period of time, when he was the king before he passed away. As a background, this institution is in Mecca, and of course it is part of Al-Qura University. So many people, of course, provide travel to Saudi Arabia. Nowadays, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has opened up a bit more eased up upon on their visas and the program. You can apply for a visa, and even so, for some countries you can just transit to Saudi Arabia now, do your Umrah, and you can continue your journey to other institutions. And basically, this will give commitment to providing a better service, having transportation, again, as I mentioned, housing facilities, and even the control of crowds, communication, telecommunication. There's so much going on that needs to be updated and upgraded, especially that Saudi Arabia is shooting for a bigger number of visitors for the next few years. They're making now, Medina, there's a big mega project for a residential area. They're building hotels, they're building institutions, hospitals, health facilities for visitors to continuously frequently to visit Medina. And of course, and if we could go back, sorry. And of course, this gives you some information about the dates when it started, and how, King Abdulaziz University was one of the institutions that also gave so much, research work in upgrading the possibilities to make Hajj more of a research topic than just an event. Okay, because you have some accidents every once in a while that happens. You're having 2+ million people at the same time for the same period of time doing the same things. So you have to come up with some new technologies, new ideas to bring out the comfort. You're talking about comfort zones, you're talking about protection, security, allocation. Like for example, during the COVID-19, we had some issues of people who could perform Hajj, who could perform Umrah. And later on, we made a program with the King Abdullah Institute to control the mass according to a reservation process. And you have to reserve a time to visit Rawda, as an example. You only have one chance for your visit, to visit Rawda and pray inside Rawda. And doing Umrah, similarly, so you have a quotation of how many times you can do that. So it's now being controlled. As soon as you arrive in the country, you apply, you have this application that you start registering for Umrah, what time, what date, and khalas, then you get to reserve that period of time. You get less crowds, and that time is reserved only for those people who are reserved. So that's going to give some solutions to some of that. Some of these objectives are there to also have even mathematical simulations, do some programming solutions for even transportations. Now they have the train between Mecca and Medina. They have establishing a bit more metro systems inside Mecca and Medina. It's going to take so much time for it to reach to its complete order. It takes billions of dollars to do these kind of mega projects. You're talking about area where it's already inhabited with so many millions of people who populate Medina and Mecca. And some of these would work on historical records, studies, more of the photos, films, maps, even making documentations. Nowadays, people are more into using a device for you to reach to certain locations, using Google Maps, and so nowadays you're already, when you visit Medina or Mecca, for those new, never been there, you'll find a way rather than being confused or taken by some of the travel agencies as they did in the past. So now you're more by yourself, just fly, you go there, you start doing your own things. You can rent your car, you can just take a metro system down to visit those historical locations. Even between, as an example, some of the historical sites, they've taken out roads so people could start walking, and they have some scooter rides and some small electric cars going between these locations. So the Institute, every year they open up for scientists and engineers and people of expertise to provide solutions to this noble cause. Of course, they ask those thinkers to bring up ideas, and of course the Institute has a website that you can apply every year for your, there's a gathering, international gathering every year at King Abdullah Institute in Al-Qura University. And that by itself brings so much of this collaboration that we're talking about, having people with different ideologies that could bring a solution from different places in the world with their ideas, new ideas to function. And even if their ideas meets the heads up of the government officials, they will immediately will find that person and they start signing proper work so they can protect their inventions or their ideas, and they could start building up on these mega projects. So according, this is also in relation to what we're talking about. Let me just give you an example of something we're working on now. Been working for the past few years. I've had some communication with the Prince of Medina, the mayor of the city of Medina. And of course, we started this study on upgrading the HVAC system for the Grand Mosque of Medina. And this was to implement on the 2030 vision that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia that has induced the country to develop a more better economy, more flexible agendas and ideologies. And of course, these are some of the pictures from the inside of the Grand Mosque inside Medina. This is the tomb. The first picture on the left, this is considered to be, they call this the bed of Fatima. This is the daughter's of the Prophet ﷺ's bed, it's called. It's not actually the bed. The bed at that time was all the collection of items and stuff that she used to was put inside this box there. The picture down there is the front side of the tomb of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ with Sayyidina Abu Bakr and Sayyidina Umar. They're all buried inside that space inside there. Yeah. Okay. As introduction, this is a project that I worked on for a couple of years, and I gave some recommendation. I sent some official presentations to government officials, to the Prince of Medina, and basically this is to upgrade Al-Masjid al-Nabawi's 3-decade system that was already past due now, because as you know, we continuously try to upgrade our engineering systems. Engineering systems, they lose their credibility as soon as new technology comes about in automobiles and everything, even airplanes. So the system has been there for the past 30 years and plus, since before even King Fahd. That time he started this program. Even before that, when it was necessary to understand how much power we can save and how many of these new technologies using sensor technologies, using inhibitional comfort zones in HVAC could impact and oops, it's gonna fall. Start hitting the mics. I'm sorry, getting too excited. So basically, what's happening here is we're trying to upgrade, improve. If we can go to the next, yeah. The current system basically is a very smart system, somehow. Of course, you're traveling. The station is about several kilometers away from the Grand Mosque, and we're talking about a long distance where 60 degrees Celsius has to be continuously be able to be producing that temperature so the chillers could operate. And we're talking about the distance from the Grand Mosque, which is near Salam Road. This is about 7 to 8 kilometers away. You're traveling with these pipes, HVAC pipes, underneath the roads, so you can reach the chilling water to the Grand Mosque through the air handling units there. The system was built by York. It served for so many years. We're talking about 6 chillers. This is the current system, with about each one operating in 3,400 watts per hour, and we're talking about 819,000 cubic meters per hour of this kind of operational value. There are 151 air handling units. The air handling units, for those who visited the Grand Mosque of Mecca and Medina, the new buildings, they put the pillars. Underneath the pillars, they have these air handlers that they produce fresh air from these pillars. It's a very smart thought 30 years ago, but we have to, change this ideology. We have to also bring a newer thought to how can we save so much money in terms of maintenance, in terms of also the current system is working 24/7. The only time you know when to turn on the AC or turn it off is by having this measure. They have a Zamzam tank near the Grand Mosque. This Zamzam tank is cooled, by this pipe. The temperature goes above 6 degrees Celsius, it's time to turn on the chiller. That's as simple as it was in the past. Still, till today is the same way, but I think we're about time to upgrade that system. So I'm giving you an example of one of these ideas that, your researchers, keep my hands away. So, your researchers, your faculty, collaboration could be done. Again, I was talking with Professor Shanur about these kind of possibilities that we can have people give recommendations. And every year we have these conferences that are related to these kind of functions. So we can continue next. So we're talking about so many ways we can upgrade these systems. Of course, it's going to cost some money, but we're going to save so much money with new technologies by having, as an example, a sensed kind of HVAC system that feels the population rather than cooling a whole space. You can cool a particular space that's underused. When no person is occupying a certain space, the system shuts down. So these are the kind of basic recommendations. You can save 75 to 80% of the electricity being used today with these kind of ideas. And we're talking about tremendous amounts of money being saved in general. So please. This is the proposal I gave them. So basically what they have, they bring this water 7-8 kilometers away, chilled water from a faraway station, and they go underneath the Grand Mosque, and they provide cool air underneath the pillars. See those pillars? There's some openings there. This is the exhaust where you have these diffusers diffusing cold air to the people who pray there. And if you pray everywhere in the Grand Mosque, it's really nice. The atmosphere, the humidity ratios, everything is done according to measurables. But still, as I mentioned, needs to be worked about. If you do more spot cooling, particular using sensor communicating with bodies around infrared readings, it will give you a more accurate measurables. You can reduce, you can increase the temperatures according to the use of that space, and that connects somehow to having this kind of idea to connect these chillers directly rather than having the water being sent. We can directly have these systems underneath the Grand Mosque on a spot level, rather than you have some chillers, smaller chillers, rather than having this huge chillers that operates in big valleys, and you can reduce the amount of power. So this is just an idea through in government. Sometimes the government, they don't listen. But you as a faculty member, as a researcher, you continuously try to make people hear you. So So the next. So this is basically, just a sample of something, a recommendation. Anybody could, specializing in different areas of again crowd management. When you have people entering the country, as an example, the control of their baggage. You're talking about people going from Medina to Mecca, and when you're doing Hajj, you're not just doing that. You're going from Medina to Mecca, then from Mecca to Mina, then from Mina to Arafah, from Arafah to Muzdalifah, and then back again to Mina, then back to Mecca, then back to Medina. So the bags, and you can have these kind of ways you can communicate people with their necessary needs of people coming from peoples around the world. Even airlines during Hajj season, they lose your bags. Okay, as a local Saudi traveling every once in a while to Dubai, or we take flights that connects Medina to Dubai, then Dubai to Mumbai. Okay, your bags are mixed with all those Mumbais, and it goes to Mumbai. You never receive it in Dubai. even though they compensate you, but you have to be careful what to pack in your bags in these kind of flights, especially during Hajj season. It's easy to lose your bags during some airliners. Talking about Air Dubai or Dubai Air Emirates, they all lose your bags. You have so many bags going to different parts of the world during that period of time. So these are the kind of control systems that we need to upgrade in this kind of motivation to keep that place sacred. And there's so much, of course, money is spent to that place, whether for visiting and for the visitors and for those locals who are trying to make these accommodations more comfortable. Thank you very much for your talk. Terima kasih. And I hope that you can communicate on these communication stages. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih for Yasir. Yesterday I was traveling with him from the railway station. I'm shocked. He took a train. You took a train, Dato'. Arrival, take ETS from Kuala Lumpur to Padang Besar. Padang Besar. See? I said, where are you now? In Sungai Petani. So he remember most of his journey to Padang Besar. And then when he arrived, I picked him. I said, I have his passport. I told me about I think I nearly want to cry that he dreamed of Prophet Muhammad SAW last week. So you can ask him what is his dream. He told me very brief, but after this maybe he can share with you his dream with his great-great-grandfather, Prophet Muhammad SAW. So, inshallah. It's very difficult to get a dream. We try our best, but he dreamed of Prophet last week. He told me. See? So our second speakers is our brothers here, Professor Nangkula Uta Berta from Alberta, Canada. No, from Jakarta. He's a professor of architecture, prolific writers. He received his Doctor of Philosophy and also Masters of Architecture from Malaysia, from Universiti Technology Malaysia, 2009 and 2005. And then he is currently with UCSI, but previously he is with UTHM. I don't know, Dato' was there during that time. No, I don't think during the early stage of the formation of the School of Architecture, Department of Architecture in UTHM. And then, he was in UPM as well, architecture. I remember I interviewed him, but he don't remember me. Maybe he's scared during the interview. You see? So, Prof. Nangkula. He wrote quite a number of publications in journal, also a number of books, published in Scopus, MySite, and ISI WOS, and also leads many research, government research, government of Malaysia research projects, quite a number of research projects. So without further ado, I would like to invite Prof. Nangkula to present his talk on redefining green mosque between object and value-centered discourse. Prof. Nangkula, please. Alhamdulillah. Ya. Awak yang kita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Siti dan Pak.
Alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah that we have opportunities to discuss and share some ideas. So I think, and also thank you very much to Prof. Walio and also Datuk Noh, and especially to Prof. Hanita for inviting and share some ideas. I know some of you might coming from engineering backgrounds. So today's, I think I'll share you some architecture ways of presenting. It's a bit different. As you see there, I have 80 slides there. but do not worry because my slide is full with pictures. So compared to Brother Yasir before, I have a lot of pictures to share with you guys. Hopefully you enjoy that. Okay, next. Oh, you cannot go with full screen for this PDF. Okay. I would like to start with the ideas, my expertise about Islamic architectures. I research a lot on mosques and Islamic buildings, Islamic designs. So I would like to start with introduction. This is our new book. It's supposed to publish into 2025. We call it Masjid, Spiritual Hub for Community Development. So we invited one of the most controversial professor in Malaysia. I think some of you know him. He invited him to give a introduction to our books. He was an expert in Islamic architectures also. So can you go back to the first slide? So what he's trying to say is that when architects was given an opportunity to design a mosque, they have two options, whether they follow what client want and what the architects want. So if you see the buildings was I'm going to show you later, full with an element so-called in Islamic architectures. Those mean they are following the clients most of the times. But when you saw a mosque with a different way of design, with the local materials, with the exploring on the potential of the materials and design, that means that mosque was following the architecture wheel on that. But he reminds us that actually what most of the time missed by the architect is that sometimes architects fail to understand the needs of the communities. That they're designing the mosque for the communities, not for the authorities, not for the specific religious people. This is the key element of what I'm trying to say today. So I would like to reconstruct the idea of the mosque, not from the idea that we have today, but from different perspective. What we call as the values. We try to start from the values and we try to give up. Actually, this approach gives us a lot of opportunities to explore, compared that if we strictly discuss about an object itself. Okay, next. So when we talk about mosque, especially in Malaysia, normally we talk about the ideas of Arabic elements, Turkish, Middle East image. Next. Oh, you go very far. That was slide number 25. Okay, next. Okay, sometimes we talk about domes, dome, arch, minarets. Some features might not be suitable in Malaysia, in the sense that one of the key elements in architecture syllabus that we're working now is that how to teach students to design in two-season countries. Because most of our architecture students now designing in four-season countries. For your information, because our curriculum and syllabus come from the four-season countries syllabus. Okay, next. Sometimes we talk about monumental scales. The ideas that mosque should be big, should have an axis. Axis is when you straight direct lines. The Taj Mahal is not a mosque. It's a tomb. But some people they refer it as a mosque as one of the reference on that. Okay, next. Maybe we might think about mosque in a different ways. How about if we design a mosque something like this? If for those who staying in America, one of the greatest American architects ever lived. That was his title. Mr. Frank Lloyd Wright was one of the best architects in America, coming from Unitarian Church. Unitarian is one of the oldest Christian in America who believe only one God. Very unique one. Okay, so this among his design when he actually tried to work. It's not a mosque, by the way. Some of them is a house. Some of them coming from the ideas of public building, but very close with the natures. Okay, next. Something like this. Next. Okay. So there's two ways of looking at buildings. Most of the time, when we design a building, we we level everything. When we have a trees. When we have a pond, we dry the pond. We engineers do that. We dry the pond, we level everything, and we build up the foundation for the mosque. Then we landscape it. But Frank Lloyd Wright, like you see in the previous design, he has a different ways of doing that. He didn't level everything. He just put the building around the natures. So the building, can you go back a bit? Just one slide. You can see here, the building is a part of the environment, of the nature. And the nature is bigger than the building itself, because nature is the only body of God that you will ever see. That's what he said. So in order for you to understand God, you need to understand nature. That's why he said his building is supposed to be surrounded by nature. Okay, next. I would like to start with the problems. Yeah, this is one of the research that we start in Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, in 2006, I did an interview with one of the most famous Indonesian architects, Mr. Adi Mursyid. Yeah? He designed, I think, 300 to 400 mosques in Indonesia. Yeah? He died a few years back. So when I interview him, I interview many things. I've been in his office for 2 weeks for my PhD in 2005. So one of the very interesting things that he told me is that in Jakarta means Jabodetabek, Jakarta, Depok, Tangerang, Bekasi, we have 26 mosques, 26,000 mosques, including the musola, surau, and everything. And from those 26,000 mosques in Jakarta, only 15% space was used. Yeah? We are lucky because in Indonesia, you held your wedding ceremony in the mosque. So the mosque somehow being used in that Saturday, Sundays time. Yeah? Okay, next. So we thought about it in 2014 and 15. Why don't we duplicate the study in Kuala Lumpur? Yeah? Why don't we duplicate Kuala Lumpur? So we started only with the mosque registered under the MAWIP. Yeah, MAWIP. Then as you can see here, we have 56 sample of mosques. We like to know whether in Kuala Lumpur is lowest or maybe highest than the Jakarta one. Okay, next. So we did interview. So we interviewed the AJK of the mosque. These two are my previous students. Yeah, you go to that particular mosque, interview what are the activities of the mosque during the daytime and the weekend. Okay, next. So we do observations. Next. And we draw the plan. Yeah, so now we have around 96 plan drawn by the students. Yeah? So because we would like to know where is the area where this activity is happening. Okay, next. Yeah, we did this measuring. Maybe Dr. Naim, yeah, my former student now UIA's lecturers there. Okay, next. One thing that we found actually, number one is that actually we have a guideline, yeah? Garis Panduan 008A. Yeah? That's the Garis Panduan. But actually the mosque in Kuala Lumpur doesn't follow that, because some mosque is very small while the other one is very big. the land and the size of the mosque itself. So that's the first that we found. Next. And the facilities. So GP 008A provide a list of facilities that should have the mosque. But actually not all was provided by the mosque. Some of them have, some of them don't have. Yeah? But the basic like prayer rooms is there. Okay, next. One thing that shocked us is that actually the utilization, the space utilization was a lot slower than the Jakarta one. As I said, maybe in Malaysia, because you don't do the wedding ceremonies during the weekends, so the mosque was empty during that time. So we only found like only 2.2% the spaces was usage. Means that if you have 1 square meter space being used, the other 94 square meter was not used. This is very important. The reason is that if you're looking at from the sustainable perspective, yeah, for 1 meter square of mosque, you need to maintain it. Let's say we put 10 ringgits per week, yeah, just to brush it up. Imagine if this amount of land was not maintained, was maintained but not used. How much monies of Ummah's monies was spent, but wasted lah, because you didn't use it. Okay, next. So in this brief research, we put some conclusion. Yeah. So when you have bigger site, doesn't mean doesn't mean you have to have a bigger mosque. Yeah, that's one finding that we found after lots of experience. Size of main prayers. Yeah, we shouldn't have too big size of main prayers, because later on it cannot be used for other things. Yeah, extended multi-purpose space and everything. Yeah? So this one we can see it later. Okay, next. Okay, let's go back to Prophet's Mosque. Yeah? I think when we talk about one of the earlier, I know this was draw when we read one of the books, yeah, from the West. Yeah, they draw some sketch from the Prophet Mosque. As you can see, the Prophet Mosque was simple and so-called functional. We can discuss further whether the mosque is a building or institution. This is another discussion on that. Next. When go to different area, different locations, the mosque grows into different forms. And Islam is the most moderate religion in the world, as far as I know. Because we are very keen to accept any values from that particular area. So that's why we call Islamic thought and Islamic principle. These are two different things. So in Islamic thought, we can see that lots of usage of the local language. If you go mosque in the Middle Eastern or the Africa, different with the one we find in Iran, in Indian, in Turkish, in Chinese. I visit a lot of mosques in China, and of course in Southeast Asia is different. Because the Islam adapts the local language, so that's why it changed into a different kind of language. Okay, next. If you see, this is the traditional mosque. Next. This is the modern mosque. You see, lots of form of mosque actually that you can find. We an architect have a thousand of language to design a mosque. Okay, next. So when we do a thorough research, we found out that actually mosque is a representation of it's not only a buildings. When you build a mosque, you're not only building the building of mosque, but actually you build up the institution also of the mosque. The problem is that the building get highest priorities, while the institution sometimes was left out. That's why if you have like 5 million of ringgit, 5 billion of ringgit, for example, to build up a mosque, you must have to think half. You must build up the half for the building, half maybe for the management of the mosque itself, so that it can generate monies for themselves later on. Okay, next. So we give a lectures to our UTM students back in 2005, 2004 when I was a part-time lecturer there. So we tested on our students. So give them a lecture, mosque is like this, there's a misunderstanding of the mosque. So we give them a series of lectures and we test them to design a mosque for UTM KL's in Taman Semarak's mosque during that time. So next. So it's very interesting. This one during 2005 or 2006, you don't have much of computers. You don't have AutoCAD, some SketchUp a bit, but some of them draw their own. So you come out with a different shape of mosque. So mosque, which the first one, how about if the mosque can reduce the use of the light during daytime? So you enter the light from outside. So you reduce the usage of the electricities, energies. How about if the mosque we break up into spaces, so that when you have a praying, you have that spaces. When the Jummah prayer, you can extend. I mean okay, I get the experience. So when the Jummah prayer, the Jamaah can spill, not just in the main praying areas. So this kind next. So lots of next. So students exploring with the different kind of forms. When they started from the values. They're not starting from the objects. This is a value against an object. So objects mean that mosque must have a dome. Mosque must have a minarets. Mosque must have this element. So when you start your discourse with the objects, you won't go very far. But when you study from the values of Islam, then you have a lot of opportunities to grow. Okay, next. This is some other mosque, very modern one. Next. This is another type of mosque on that. This is very interesting ideas. One of the theses in UTM also. They call it Masjid Mesra Wanita. I mean, mosque which is very friendly with women. It's very interesting ideas. Is that why don't we spend some part of the mosque as a part of the women area? Masjid Mesra Wanita. Next. You see, there's a purple area. Because women Muslimah always have a problems when goes to in Islamic communities. When you, for example, you want to swim, it's not easy to find a place to swim for women. Some women want to go to spa. Some women want to have some needs. And one of the most important is when related with the kids. when you want to send your kid for the nurseries, for education, sometimes you find it very difficult to introduce Islamic values at the beginning. So if you can have it in the mosque, you have wall climbing there for women. Yeah, women can do it for wall climbing and everything. So I think if we can think about some experiment of it, yeah, which we appreciate. Women means our wife, our mother, and also our daughter. So we give them a facilities to use in the mosque. Okay, next. Here's some of the strategies, yeah, some of the design. Next. Yeah, you have the activities, you have the as I say, wall climbing, you have the for the Muslimah, yeah. Okay, next. This is another sample of experiment that our student did. Yeah, this is called during that time our youngsters famous with the hip hop. Yeah? Now hip hop is no longer in the pictures. We call it hip hop mosque. Yeah? Hip hop mosque mean that we would like to invite youngsters to the mosque. Yeah? Because most of the time when we talk about younger people, they don't like to go to the mosque. Our only people who aged. Kalau in Indonesia, we call it bau tanah. Season. Only seasoned people who like to go to the mosque. Why don't we invite our young people to that? Rather than going to the pub, to the mall, or other, we call it not so important place, why don't they go to the mosque? Okay, next. Yeah, this is the ideas. You have to atmosphere, so people can still vibrant. But at the same time, during the prayers, they can pray. Yeah, that was the idea. Next. Next. Yeah. The colors also is not it's not like our normal mosque. Yeah? It's like got orange, it's got red. So it vibrant in the sense that liked by the youngsters. Okay, next. Okay, the last part, I would like to share our experiments. Yeah, our experiment during the COVID times. Yeah. We have these aquaponics experiments. I'm going to tell you where we're going to implement that. But as I said in the previous slides, that Allah always encourage us to look at the natures. Yeah, we say how the rivers. Yeah, how's you need to see the nature to understand Him. Yeah, on that. And of course, you have the hadith mentioning about the trees and public rights. Yeah, these are the thing that we need to see the natures on that. Okay, next. So during the COVID-19, so when I was with UTHM, yeah, during that time, we don't go to works every day. So we have to do experiment in the house. So what I did is that I have four pond in my house, fish pond. Yeah, fish pond. I like fish, so I like playing because fish release my stress. Some people they go farming and everything. So we trying to work on that. Okay, next. I would like to bring the idea of the why self-food production. Yeah, why we need to do this. Number one, because the obesity in Malaysia was huge. Yeah? I think Malaysia is number 4 in the world. Number 1 in Asia, in Southeast Asia. Yeah, if you see there, yeah, in Asia Tenggara, 15.6%. Yeah? Brunei 14.1, Thailand 10.0, Indonesia 6.9. So Indonesia is still very low compared to Malaysia. Yeah. So one of the factors contributed to that obesity was food, yeah? The food that we eat. So our idea is that why don't we produce our own food? Why don't we have that? Okay, next. See, trend obesity menggerunkan, so it's become next. And also when I was in halal, yeah, in the IPPH UTM, we have these cases. Yeah? Maybe you remember a few years back when we have this import. Meat, yeah, imported meats, yeah, in Johor in Senai, yeah, lots of them problematic. Yeah, so the halal aspect of it might be questionable. So on that, okay, next, yeah, next. Yeah, so we work on that. Yeah, that was my daughter, my youngest daughter. One thing that I found, yeah, so we experiment with it. So I attend one day class, yeah, on aquaponic, how to work on that. So I'm going to share you later. Okay, next. So this is my first pond. Next. So we work on that during the COVID time. Yeah. So so we build up our own pond. Yeah. I get my wife to cook fried rice. Then we have it there. So the kids love it. Yeah. They like to see the fish and everything. Okay. Next. Yeah, of course the production. Yeah, kangkung is the best one. You can put kangkung and you can produce 10, 15 kgs. Yeah, in 2-3 months. Yeah, it's very good. Next, tomatoes. Next, yeah, salads. Next, fish definitely. You have your catfish. You have your talapias. Yeah, yeah. Next. You have your jagung and corn. Even you can have a corn there. Next, yeah, bayam, yeah, chilies. Next, one thing very interesting is that I think last week I got opportunity to present in the education, one of the education seminars. Yeah, on that education, I was telling the audience that these activities, yeah, is one of the best activity to move our kids from the gadget. Yeah, so I have 2 of my kids at least from 4. The teenagers they go with their world, but at least 2 of my kids, the boy and the girl, they like to do that. So when we have how you want to harvest, when you want to think that they become a family's activities on that. Yeah. Next, okay. When we going to work on this, why I'm working on this? Because actually we trying to do is that we trying to cool the buildings. Yeah, we try our best to reduce the usage of air conditioning. Yeah? Now in Malaysia, same thing with Indonesia, we have a lots of mosques using air conditioning in order to give comfortable space, environment for the people to pray. Yeah? And the usage of air conditioning definitely is very expensive. Yeah? So why don't we work on something different on that? Yeah? So we have working out. This is our Yayasan Ikhlas projects. Yeah, we try to experiment. Next, yeah. So we try to, number one, in order to reduce the heat, we take out the wall. It's experimental. We experiment. If we take out the wall, is it going to be good? Is it going to reduce the use of aircon or how? Yeah. You will have a bird problem and everything. Then you see the water. In order for us in Malaysia, we have a plenty of water. Even we have flood, but we don't use that to cooling down our building. So we try to find ways so that our buildings can be cool without using an aircon. That was the ideas on that. Okay, next, yeah, and you have a more modular so that you can go up very high without with very fast. Yeah? Next, yeah. Last time we have an earthquake in Aceh. Yeah. So in Ikatan Arsitek Indonesia or Indonesian Architects Association was trying to get ideas, yeah, to develop. This is all the mosques, yeah, the mosques in Indonesia. One thing that we found out, next. One thing that we found out, actually, mosque with a dome in Indonesia, it doesn't work. The reason is not, number one, because of the cost, it's very expensive. The second one is that because of it's not safe. Yeah, it's not safe. And one of my friends, which is Prof. Andrew from New Zealand, keep telling me, Nangkula, please ask the architect, please do not build a dome in Indonesia. The reason is it's not safe because when you have a big dome there, and when the earthquake come in, then there's a very dangerous structures. So he keep telling me, he is a civil engineer. Yeah? Please remind Indonesian, do not do that because this thing will happening. You see here, lots of structures was collapsed. Next. One thing that we found very interesting is that during the Padang earthquakes, Padang earthquakes, 99% mosques with the dome collapsed, but 98% of traditional mosques survived. Which means this is a survey that done by one of my close friends from ITBs. One thing that we can ensure that there must be an earthquake before in Padang and in Aceh before. That's why the architects before they designed the mosque like that. So it survived because it gone through different kind of earthquake. But yeah, I keep telling in Malaysia we don't have earthquake. We only have flood. So you might have to reconsider on that. Yeah, on that. Okay, next. So we experiment. We did a prototype on this. You see, lots of water. That's why I'm playing with the aquaponic on that. Okay, next. Yeah. This is another project that we have in Bekasi. Yeah? Pondok Quran. Yeah. So we try to have It's open. It's more on the for the kids. Next, yeah. You see lots of plan there. So it will be very good if our aquaponic project experiment will be implemented there, so we can have production on that. Next. Just for you who want to do aquaponic, I just give you a sample. Next, some model that you can. I've been working before, yeah, with the cost. If anyone of you want to work on that, it's not that expensive actually. Next, yeah, lots of models. Next. Okay, now we go back to the what we call Islamic architectures. Yeah, when we talk about mosques, we talk about Islamic designs. We would like to remind again that whether we would like to design it as a reminder of man or reminder of God. Yeah, this is a question that I think we should ask ourselves, not to say bad design or good design. What is the one that we like to propose? Yeah, this is a two alternative way of designing things. Yeah? Okay, next. So, in summary, yeah, to conclude the presentation today, when we talk about mosque and Islamic designs, from the sustainable perspective, we would like to come up with the ideas of how we bring back to the natures, yeah? How we talk about one day Prophet was sitting around his companion, and so when people come in, who amongst you is Muhammad? This is very interesting. It's not architecture hadith, yeah? He asking who amongst you is Muhammad. So means that Prophet was not recognized. Yeah? So he's same like others. He's not wearing crown. He didn't wearing a nice, beautiful dress, batik or everything. But he's dressed like others. Means that in architectures, it might be good if we're designing some things in correlation with our environment, with our surroundings, and our context. Yeah, we call it context. Oh, and the last one, we talk about community interaction. Yeah, I think that's all for me. Thank you very much for the times given. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Very much. So, inshallah, we open the session for question and answer. You can address your question to any either Prof. Yasir or Prof. Please, I give the floor. Any questions?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ika Savitri. I'm the Dean of Faculty Business Management and IT in UMAM. I'm interested with the presentation from Professor Yasir about the KEYNOTE in MEST2024. I come several times to Madinah, Masjid Nabawi and Masjidil Haram, and inshallah soon in February I also will be Umrah there. Even now my husband in Makkah for doing Umrah. In your proposed design that you presented before, you mentioned about the intelligent zone. Yeah, intelligent zone controller to optimize energy settings. Could you elaborate how to the system ensure that the long reliability and occurrence of the sensor, because that's a very large scale of building. So how to maintain the sensor if there is any challenges in the installation itself. I think that's all my question.
Thank you. Take use the mic. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. Basically, and of course, there's a comment. Even Professor's presentation was reflecting. I had so many recently visitors from America visiting the Grand Mosque, and most of the women are saying, even for the zone that they give women is smaller as compared. They say nowadays, because the system is opening up a bit more, they want more room for women to visit the Grand Mosque prayer area. And I think these are recommendations that we also need to work on as researchers and people of academic backgrounds. Regarding the comfort zone and how we can induce the capabilities of reliability and all these questions, of course, the Grand Mosque ceiling is very high. And that is somehow even, is doing for human or for God kind of question. You're doing things for humans to enjoy remembering God, basically, in these places. And of course, it's different. There's an open building. Medina is closed building. Even though it's closed, we have these domes that move and have these spaces that keeps ventilating. Especially during Ramadan. Sometimes you have Ramadans during summer and it gets crowded, and you have to have these places taken care of in terms of ventilation. Regarding the sensors, of course, we're talking about something a bit more of a structure type. Where in cinemas today and some places you have smart buildings, green buildings. Sensors today through infrared messaging process, and there's so many technologies, new technologies coming up. That's why we need to completely work on our updates on these kind of regards. Especially we're dealing with the two holiest sites for Muslims to visit, and it's not only for during one season or two. The whole year now you have these. It's booming. People are coming. If you go to Medina or Mecca, the Jeddah airport, it's always busy. We have flights from everywhere around the world. Even taking the train from Mecca to Medina is always, as for us being locals, we try to travel not just the purpose of Umrah. We travel just to go to Jeddah, as an example. It's crowded, so we need more studies, more research on that part. But in the part where you have a system that feels the inhibitional space, having smart buildings, trying to save on power, that leads to so much, because most of the visitors in the Grand Mosque are 40 plus years old people, and usually you have people who do i'tikaf during Ramadan and during some seasons. The place is open 24/7. You need to provide comfort zones. You need to provide even Zamzam water. There's so much provision. But I'm talking about the newer buildings. The older buildings, you can't do much because it's already limited space. You don't have so much to work around. If anything fails, this is like one of the number one priorities to the kingdom monarchy, is to keep these places always powered, being cooled, being, giving all the services 24/7 without any shortages. Once upon a time, the lights just blipped, a bit of losing some power, just for instance of seconds. The whole, monarchy was on their feet because of these kind of occasions. That's how important these places are. Of course, you have these, extra. I don't want to elaborate more, but you have extracurricular activities. People are coming there, saying I'm al-Mahdi. This happens every once in a while. Mecca and Medina, they just come, and crazy people come every time, say I'm al-Mahdi. so you have to be really on your feet all the time, taking care of these places. So in air conditioning, as you said, it's one of the priorities. Saudi Arabia is located in the desert, very hot during the whole period of time. Only we get blessed with 3 months of coolness. The rest goes back to hot temperatures. Thank you.
Question, please.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamu.
Muhammad Shukri Mustafa from Education. Thank you very much for this interesting of this speakers today. I have 2 questions. The first is, this mosque is a very important of the Muslim, and then they design the mosque of is to how to encourage of the people Jamaah to come to the masjid. So any people study or any data show that this architecture design impact the level of increase of this Jamaah to come to the mosque. Okay, the first. The second question is maybe the technical of this spot chill. What the Prof mentioned in the slide of this data 151. Why we select this 151 of the spot chill to this new design? And then any have a previous study or location, the previous location already used on this spot chiller. And then what is the concept of the advantage of this spot chiller? Thank you.
Thanks.
Two questions. One question is
Okay, very good questions. Yeah. Thank you very much on that. I think this becomes the homework for everybody's, yeah, to bring people to come to the mosque. Yeah. I think one day one of my students, my master students, is doing research on the community centers in Malaysia. Dewan serba guna, dewan orang ramai. Dewan serba tak guna, serba orang tak ramai. I'm sorry to say that. But my students, when he come up with the research and he come up with the design, he say that he should put proper signage, proper window, proper roof design and everything. But I asked the first questions, yeah, before we go into that elements. I say, number one, I've been to the community centers in Malaysia to play badminton. One day I presenting this proposal into one conference in Hong Kong. Lots of people from Europe and America was come. They say, wow, no wonder Malaysia is good in badminton because you have badminton court everywhere. Yeah, that's one of the elements. Because our community centers works on three things. Number one is to play badminton. Yeah, if you are playing badminton, you go to the community centers to book for that. And then second one is for wedding ceremonies, yeah, especially for non-Malays, yeah, Chinese, India, you use a community center for that. While the last one is for the gathering of political parties. Let's say one MDB, lots of people gathering in the other community centers, yeah, to have a talk on that. But the first thing that you need to ask that in the developed countries, if you go to Singapore, you go to Europe, you go to United States, community centers is live. You can go there, you can family day, you can have after works, you can watch TVs and everything. Compared to our countries, yeah. Why? Yeah. Number one, because you should have somebody to manage it. Because you need to have one is you have to committees there. You need to have people who manage it. Kalau masjid we call it DKM, ya, Dewan Kemakmuran Masjid, to manage that buildings. So with that people, second one, you must have activities. Yeah. You need to have activities to that, so that when the activities come, people are coming there. Now the last one will be your architectural design on that. So back to the mosque there. That's why what I'm telling you is that when we talk about mosque design, sometimes we neglected one of the very important element of the mosque itself, which is the institution. Yeah. Mosque is not only a building itself, but also the institution. So when you have the institution, that's why in Indonesia you have Masjid Jogokarian, some mosque which is very, very active. You have activities, yeah, your activities, people coming in. You have subuh prayer, same like Jumu'ah prayers. You know, now in the more modern mosques in Indonesia, I visit some of them. They grow. I think in Malaysia also you have lots of mosques which is very active now because of the committees. Yeah, the committees. Not during that time when we observe. It's not because of the design of the mosque, but because of the committees. Okay, it will be very good if the mosque not only have an active committee, it also have spaces to cater that. That's when the architecture coming in. Yeah? When the architecture coming in, like our community centers. Yeah? Our community centers will always be empty. Our community center, unless you want to play badminton there. Unless you have a proper organizing committee, you have a proper activities program. We call it program. Yeah? Program. For example, 1 week you have family day, you have a discussion there, you have there. Same thing with the mosque. So we have an activity of the mosque, but in terms of so most of the time in Indonesia, this mosque committee, yeah, they didn't have salary. They do it part time. Yeah, in Indonesia, in Malaysia, some of them get paid, some of them is not. So when you do it part time, you cannot expect a result as a full time. Why don't we have a committee which was paid full time? Ada pension lagi kan? That can be working 24 hours, yeah, to work on that. Then of course the architect will come to have these elements to attract more people on that with spaces. So what we planning to do is that we would like to have the spaces, yeah, the spaces. Because now when you look at the big city like Kuala Lumpur, it's more like Jakarta nowadays. Yeah, when you have wedding ceremonies, yeah, when you have this batunang activities or maybe akikah, yeah. So it will be very good if we can have it in the mosque, yeah, so that it can be used during the weekends, during after hours time. So you can work on that. Yeah, so that is the thing. So for me, I'm not saying that the architecture is not important. I will try to say that before we go into that architecture part, we need to go into management and also this spaceless part first. You know, so when we have that, automatically we will have the architecture part. One thing that very lacking is that we didn't put a budget on that. Yeah? While our mosque build very expensive in Indonesia, also we have a lot of expensive mosques. Well, later on, no budgets. Yeah? What we have, I think some of you come from economies. Yeah? I dream to have this research. I would like to have a research PhD or masters on the business model of mosque. I don't know, from economy, maybe can help me on that. So we can help a business model of mosque in Malaysia. One thing that I know is that in Malaysia, you can have very active mosque when you have a restaurant. Yeah, I don't know because of that obesity or not, because people like to eat. So one thing that I found, this is what based on my observation, when you have a restaurant in the mosque will be very active. Because people will go to eat, then they go to pray. When the Jummah prayer ends, they go to the restaurant. So that's maybe one of the models. Yeah, but I would like to have a student. Yeah, I didn't have these opportunities. If I can have one student or two students from the background of economy, yeah, to build up this business model. What is the best business model for the mosque on that? I hope that answer the questions.
Yes, please. Yeah, regarding the question of the spot cooling, of course, in return to the ideology of having occupations, of course, 151, that number is the actual number of pillars that being providing air handling solution. Of course, spot cooling has been introduced, years ago, about 2 decades ago, when, as an example, telecommunication buildings, the exchange building by itself had equipment, electrical equipment that needs to cool down. So companies, telecommunication companies used to cool the whole building instead of cooling just the electronic services. I work in the micro heat transfer specialization, and I do some work in nanotechnology as well. So basically, going smaller, of course, saves money. A smart system, of course, as compared to this room, if the occupation is 100%, you need 100% HVAC. If the occupation is only 20%, as during Fajr prayers, is usually during school days. This was in the past, of course. Now 24/7, Masjid al-Nabawi and both Mecca is full all the time. وَأَذِّنْ لِلنَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ أَتُوكَ رِجَالًا, because of course this is a dua of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, asking Allah to bring people from all over the world to that spot, especially being attracted to coming there. So you don't need to invite people, make that inhabitable. So already people are coming with no any reason other than praying in the Grand Mosque and in Mecca. So solutions, spot cooling, of course, now since almost 15 years or less, they started using spot cooling to cool down electronic devices, This use spot cooling. These are smaller devices that requires less energy. Even you can use solar energy to power these systems. And the ideology is having a space zone being divided according to each of those spot coolers, and basically would provide a perfect comfort zone. Nowadays, if you pray, I don't know if you've prayed in several places in the Grand Mosque. Mecca is different, but in Medina, if you pray near the doors and the weather is hot outside, you get reflected, especially during Ramadan. You pray the Taraweeh period and it gets really hot. Even though inside it's comfortable, but still with so much crowds and you're doing prayers motion, it requires a bit more smarter solution than just the normal system that was built 20 or 30 years ago. So that's to answer your question.
I just want to add a Shukri question about the mosques. Okay, that's what touched me. The issue of the mosque in Malaysia, the mosque is built sometimes due to the political pressure, not because of the mosque as the community center for the people. You can see in the whole satu lagi project kerajaan barisan. So it is a mosque. So people who are from different political parties, I don't want to go to this mosque because this will belong to this and that. So I think it's defeat the purpose of the mosque as community center. And also you can find that sometimes in the East Coast there is Masjid Pas, there is Masjid Amno. Again, it is a politically attractive mosque. So this is not good actually from because political party is not religious. It's not religion. So I think the mosque should be maintained, like in Medina. The mosque is the community center, the center of knowledge, center of also for ibadah and so on, but also center of activities, to the community. So maybe it's good to change. Like university should be center of excellence, not center of political excellence, but center of excellence academically. People in university also trying to be a politician. So this is also not good to the university. We will kill the universities. Same thing with the mosque. The purpose of building the mosque is not only for prayers but also as a large as it shouldn't be attached to any political interest or whatsoever. That is my comment on the present situation in the mosque. Yes,
One by one. You see, kalau you look at the mosque in particularly town, most of the mosques are self-financed. They are not. When you start, mungkin the government will give million. But when it comes to running, depend on the community. So kalau community important in my mosque, in the poor, we don't allow all these parts. Kalau masuk PAR, kalau masjid, memang pecah lah. So we don't want that. We want to make it a center of learning moment. Because mosque is actually not just a place for you to pray. Kalau kat pray di mana masjid Isya ini, nama ada masjid Isya dengan mari saja. Semua orang tak mahu belajarnya. So satu piece center of learning. Number one, for example, kalau you look at the you have what we call it the buat khusus sedikit. Kalau setakat bagi ceramah dia tak ada speak something you want to look for lah. Kalau you put sedikit to the Zoom, then after 1 month, 1 year, you buat interview of coursework dan you dapat sedikit. That means you punya fokus. Kalau setakat bagi ceramah biasa, tak ada. Kawan ni bagi tasawuf, dekat, bagi ni mana begitu. Tak ada. Lepas tu satu lagi dia, you have to make sure that for example, untuk belajar biasa ni kalau kita adakan kelas Quran, hafalan. Kalau hafal Quran, Lepas tu ada khusus bahasa Arab. Itu memang kontradiktif. So bila dia aktif, dia are contributors. Normally kalau orang kaya-kaya ni, kalau you have proper something that you can contribute to the society, they really believe thousand orang ni kalau kena satu bulan collection 1,000 orang. Kalau kat Pekan lah. Kalau kat kampung tu dia kita tak boleh ni. Ayuman master tak dapat. Kami kadang-kadang biasa 2,000. If you look at the budget in KL, some of the committee members that used to collect money, dia ada about 800,000 juta, what the heck are the money? That one, kalau use that money buat kostur, buat untuk community, pasti you got so much money, you tolong nak orang kampung, dia hidupkan macam tu jadi kampung. Kalau lagi sakina ni kampung dia lah, boleh motor habis bulan nak bayar around IDK berikut. Kalau macam KL, Taipo, contribute collection sampai kalau account tengok 1 juta, what the heck itu ni 1 million. The money is not supposed to be simpan. Kena belajar. Maybe belajar boleh. That is what you call it membantu community. Menaikkan bentara Islam ilmu. Itu kita ilmu. Tidak ada ilmu baru. Orang Malaysia ni kadang-kadang dia lagi what you call it, kalau you masuk nampak. Lepas lah. Kalau you menentang. Kalau you tak walak. Saya dalam HK apa saya menentang. Mana boleh walak pun tak walak. You tak walak boleh kena ilmu. Tak walak hanya pada Allah dan Rasul. Jalan dia tu boleh. Dia ada sini. Kadang-kadang kita kalau dengan ustaz, kita boleh gaduh. Okey, itu je.
Saya komen sikit. Just a bit one. Number one is regarding the politics. Actually, most of us thought that politics is bad. actually, politics bad because the people in there is bad, not because of the politics itself. We have politics every day, you know. When you have wife, you have politics every day lah. Kan? You have a politics is basically you think something is right and you want people to agree with you. That is politics lah. Yeah, you convince people to agree with you. So that's the politics. But because of not many good people like the one here become the politician, we need the good people in politics. People who put Islam before the politics. Yeah, that is the problems lah. Not only in Indonesia, also we have an issue like that. So but we need that. We need more and more good people in politics so that people can fight for the people. Yeah, I mean, there's a politician who fight for the people. That's what we need, not just looking for projects and everything. So I think we don't want that. I agree with Prof's opinions. We need that for AJKs. Yeah, that's why I'm looking for this PhD in. I'm looking for anyone who expert in business and economy because that's not my expertise. I would like to know, is it possible if we can develop a mosque? For example, I give you modal 5 million ringgit. By the end of the year,
when you have dia try to develop that, terbit dekat dalam Malaysia, dia try to develop that. Mosque is the center for everything, not just mosque. Untuk dia, like kedai yang dulu yang ni, kalau dia buat kelas, tuition, all that. Betul. Everything, mosque just but Malaysia, it's supposed to be around that.
Correct. That's right. What I want is that, as Prof say lah, it's correct. Just we would like to have a mosque where the mosque can contribute to the people. I give an example. When I was student in student union in Indonesia, the scholarship was given by the student union. In 1 year, we can have like 5-6 million ringgit. Student union, not the university, you know. That's why you see during our last time, the students have demonstration. They have their own money for that. But we don't want too much demonstration in Malaysia. But the student itself, they give scholarship to students when the student active. To active mean that you are helping people. We have one where they call it scholarship, not scholarship, you give a scholarship to student universities to contribute to the school children. Yeah, for example, one school children pay 1 month 50 ringgit, for example, in Indonesia for going to school. One student from the university can help them every month 50 ringgit, 50 ringgit, 50 ringgit. So this is happening. So we have a lot of activity with that 5-6 million. So I agree. Yeah, we need to have this. That's why I'm looking for these business models. Yeah, where you, so for example, you give a model, you give a capital of 5 million to that mosque. In 6 months, can we get that 5 million back? Bagi 5 juta, then another 6 months, 5 juta tu balik. Then the next one, at the end of the year, we can get 10 million. Yeah. So what is the best business model to have this? I know, I need to get the mosque name for my research lah. As a sample, as a reference, as a case study, so that. Okay.
First question to Prof. Yasir. Can I do a private water cooling and sell it to the mosque in my I supply you cold water. And the rate is based on the cold water that I supply as a private company. And the question number 2 for Prof. Nankula is that you mentioned 26,000 mosques in Jakarta. And you mentioned about 54 mosques in Kuala Lumpur. Your definition of mosque in Indonesia and definition of mosque in Malaysia must be different, right? It's very different.
Curaus, musola.
Yeah.
It's a business proposal.
Yeah. This has been shut down, is it? Okay. Basically, when you deal with the grand mosques in Mecca and Medina, and anything that's initiated with the Islamic background that is left, the heritage of that, is done directly by the king. Nobody could make a decision from the lower part, so you have to, propose directly to the king regarding who does what, and even supplying anything. That's why I started, from down up, sending them studies and ideas. But as I mentioned, at Al-Qura University, they have this institute that we also join as Taiba University and some institutions, and internationally invited, researchers to have their ideas and research developments in developing these allocations. And the company that takes care of the grand mosques was changed recently. It was Bin Laden. Yeah, Bin Laden company. So recently it was changed to Al-Majal, different company. Of course, you're talking about a decision that has to be done by the king or the crown prince. Both of them are responsible. So it's a hierarchy, very high level agreements that they do with these kind of services.
So we need to approach the king.
Yeah, exactly. High level stuff.
Yes, the definition is different. I think a few months back, there's one student, which university, I don't remember, but he come to interview me for his PhDs. He come up with these very interesting stories. He was doing research on facility management of mosques. So when he interviewed, my first question is that, what kind of mosque are you referring to? So he was, so ada macam-macam kah? It's different type. Yeah, I give example. If you're referring to mosque for tabligh, jamaah tabligh, they stay there, they sleep there, they're cooking there. So the usage of the mosque is different. If you compare to mosque defined by Majlis Agama Islam, it's different. You cannot sleep there. So there's a definition of that. So the student, alamak. Then my thesis was wrong lah. He said, no, your thesis is not wrong. You just need to scope down. Mean that your mosque you just clearly stated that. This mosque is defined by the Majlis Agama Islam Selangor, for example. That is your definition of mosque. So it's clear. For PhD, nothing is right, nothing is wrong. That you just scope down so that it doesn't fall into different categories. So the one that I did in Jakarta is cover everything. It's musola, surau, praying space, and it's not Jakarta. It's Jabodetabek during that time. Yeah? Jakarta, Bogor, Tangerang, and Bekasi. So it's Jakarta and surroundings. Jakarta itself, in terms of numbers, population is like during that time was 6 to 7 million. Daytime, yes. Nighttime. But in daytime can go 15 million or 20 million. Yeah, Jabodetabek is like 30 million plus during that time. So it's big. So that's another discussions lah. Why people are putting the housing in the outside area and you putting working area. This is the fault of the architects because they separate. That's another discussion on that. That's so yes, the definition is different.
To supply cheap water. But yesterday, last night, we had a discussion. From yesterday, want to invest here to start a resort. Okay.
Yeah. 50-50. I can't afford the whole thing, honestly.
So Islamic resort will be
Islamic resort.
Islamic resort will be good.
Wow.
I know so many people in Saudi Arabia, especially my people, that would love to to at least try this experience.
He sent a photograph to his wife. His wife liked it.
Yeah. She said, take me there. So I said, yeah.
She.
Oh.
The she is a very good cook.
Oh, okay. The owner is a good cook. Okay.
Any other question, please? We still have please. This is recording.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I have questions to Prof. Nangkula. Okay, I'm a PhD student in architecture from Universiti UMAM. So I would like to ask regarding so the issues about the most is basically the issues that rise is about the utilization of space. So what we have, what actually from my observations, okay, usually the mosque is designed based according to the community. So let's say a new township open, then decide to do the town planner will have some allocation for a mosque for the community. Okay, so usually let's say they have 100,000 or 500,000, that's how big the mosque is. Okay, but in the future, later afterwards, then we found out that actually there's a lot of musalla, which is going at the time for the much smaller community. So the issues like the activities that supposed to be do together inside the mosque, but we the community more likely to do on the musalla, which is much more smaller lah. Do you think that this is there's some impact or relationship the musalla and the mosque, which is somehow the musalla usually we put later. Maybe in the future, of course, the numbers of the town in the town is increasing. Of course, we need to have a much bigger mosque, for example, right? For example, the mosque in the beginning maybe we just built for the Friday prayer. For example, because the Friday prayer is the only time where the number is optimum. Somehow it's even going outside to the parking area and so on. But maybe the other times the utilization of the space is much lesser. Maybe because the people come to the musalla much too small community. So what do you think about
that? Very good question and very difficult to answer. That's why I think the mindset that when we set up a mosque and musalla is that we come up from the building perspective. We provide facilities and building for that, but we did not build the institution first. That's why in Muslim communities we have this Kariah, when you have the communities there. The Kariah have themselves, they develop, they should have, in the traditional time, they have their own musalla or their own mosque because of that. So they have the sense of belongings in that. That's why they going there, they have an activity there. What I would like to emphasize here is that actually the mosque should belong to the people. I remember when we go to China, we visited a few mosques in China. So when China, not many people speak English. We are mosque. We show pictures. They say, "Oh, that's what I know." Yeah. Our mosque or mosque. There's something like that. So our mosque, our mosque. So the people was wearing short pants. Perempuan pakai short pants, pakai baju. So I said, why they say it's our mosque? Because they said, no, when we go there, so the mosque actually they have an activities. So every Wednesdays they have this makan, this eating. They serve a lot of food. Many people can come. They can come. So there's a belonging. There's a sense of belongings between that musalla and the people. So that's what we expected to have. So this makes it's a part and parcel of our daily life. The mosque itself become part of our. So the communities, the community itself, they are the one who actually managing the things to develop to the community, to the people. Because if you're looking how the prophets teach us, all earth is a prayer space. I mean, you can pray everywhere. But why you need the mosque? Why you need the mosque for that? So it means that mosque is not on when prophet build up the mosque, it's not only for people to pray, but at the same time there's a community centers there. It's an institution there. So back to your questions. The one that missing is the development of that institution. So whether they are praying in the big mosque or they're praying in the musalla, yes, it might get an effect. Yes, it might have an effect. For example, like when you build up mosque and then you have a musalla, people prefer to go to the closer musalla. But if you have the people who manage it, I mean, people who our problem now is that when you're looking at the mosque, people who manage the mosque is sometimes in Indonesia. Sometimes people who are known to be the most knowledgeable in terms of religion. But sometimes the most knowledgeable people in the religion might not know management. People who they don't know to manage things require some money, human resource management, activities. This is very important. So, in my opinion, rather than focusing on the mosque and musalla as an objects, let's start thinking about developing this institution together. So, the institution of mosque, the institution of the musalla. When these two institutions comes out, there should be a lot of program. There should be lots of activities. And one thing that we found when we have this survey, mosques with the younger AJK in Malaysia, the organizing committees, they are most of them are more active than the older one. That's what we found. So younger mean that they are more energetic in the sense they have lots of vision. So young people should become the committee of the mosque. Not all the we are old. Young people, 20, 30s, they should be committee of the mosque. Then the mosque should be more active compared to the one that is managed by elder generations. That's my opinion on that. Hope that answers your question.
One last question, please.
Thank you for the time. I'm Pauline from Institute of Technology School November Surabaya, Indonesia. I want to ask to Prof. Yasir, in considering the high number of visitors and the variation temperature in Madinah, like sometimes around 10 degrees and sometimes so high around 40 degrees, does the HVAC system incorporate an automated control system? If so, how does it adapt to their efficiency and consistent comfort to their visitors?
Okay.
The system, of course, the old system still exists. They have 6 chillers, not just one. And when the temperatures reach higher, especially during the summertime, so let's say from May all the way to September, usually they run 2 chillers. Okay, so if they run all 6, then you're going to have a freezing place to that extent. So they're ready for the crowd to be catered according to the comfort zone. But in terms of the crowd management, and of course, I mentioned about the COVID-19 period of time. Actually, I was invited, I was one of the faculty who was invited to enter the mosque, the Rawda, after it reopened again after the COVID-19. I was really lucky to be the first to enter there. It was empty. Of course, they were preparing the place for visitors. They had lines, they had so many plans for people to visit the Rawda. And, what I'm here for to mention about not just the HVAC system or the comfort zone, but in addition to crowd management, security, there's so many issues that we can keep improving on. The facility management, he mentioned about the Masjid al-Nabawi being a community center. It's been a community center. We all got married in the Grand Mosque. My marriage happened in the Grand Mosque. Not the celebration and the food, no, just the actual, the actual tying the knot, as they say, the documentation is done there. So many families around the Medina community, they come to the Grand Mosque for iftar during Thursdays and Mondays, and even during different special days in the month. People bring their children. It's a place where even ulama come. They teach, they have conferences, they have halaqas for recitation of the Holy Quran. They have programs for non-Arabs to learn the recitation of the Quran. So they have so many, it's like a college. They have a college actually. If you go online, say a college of Masjid al-Nabawi. They have a college, you go and apply, you get certified through some of their, they have the program all the way through, scheduled through special faculty members from schools at Taiba and from Islamic University of Medina, to provide workshops, courses, all year round for different ages, different backgrounds, to teach them about Sunnah, Quran, so many topics are being covered there. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think the last question, we will end the program, inshallah. I think with that, I would like to please join me to show our appreciation to both our speakers. So I pass the floor to the proper MC.
Thank you, Professor Engineer Dr. Shanur, for chairing the keynote session. Before we end the session, I have to invite Honorable Board of Director UMAM, Professor Emeritus Dr. Muhammad Noor bin Dalimin, escorted by the Chairman of Conference, Professor Dr. Nurhanita Abdul Majid, and Professor Engineer Dr. Shahnur Basri, to present our distinguished speakers with certificates and tokens of appreciation. First, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Yasir Makbul Sharif, Secondly, I would like to invite Professor Dr. Nakula Utaberta. Thank you for your valuable time and effort to deliver your enlightened speeches today. that, I would like to thank you all for coming and participating. Let's end the session with Tasbih Kifarah and Surah Al-Asr. I end my duty as Master of Ceremony for today event with Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Our guests of honor are invited to refreshment in the open space just outside this room. To ensure a smooth transition, may I kindly request all other attendees to remain seated for a few moments while we escort our guests of honor to the designated area. For prayers, surau is provided for men on the first floor and for women in front of this room. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Ini kan?